everyone, good afternoon. Once again, this is Harriet, and with me we have Sobia, who is going to be presenting to us this webinar on leadership misconceptions and myths. So Sobia, welcome on board and welcome everyone. Please give us a brief introduction of yourself and your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Harriet. Now I can hear my voice back, so how do I stop this voice from coming back to me? Or is it through your phone? Are you muted? Okay. So the presentation or the webinar is about the misconceptions and myths of leadership. So as we all know, and through all the GLLs and everything, we know the definition of leadership. So I'm not going to go into the those details, because that's one of your assignments. You're going to send us definitions of what leadership means to you right now, and probably during the presentation we are going to come across all those. So the presentation is about the misconceptions and myths of leadership. If like sometimes it happens, and this has happened to me too many times, and I don't feel like I'm a leader when I see other people trying to lead me or control me, and I'm sure that must have happened to you too. So whenever that happens, we just forget who we are, or we forget all of what we are made of. So the presentation is just going to help us rethink about our qualities, or whether we are leaders or not. So being a leader is not about credentials, it's not about skills, because it's about what you know. It is about what you believe. So this presentation is a little fun, in a fun way. The first myth is entrepreneurial leadership. So people often think somebody who's an entrepreneur is a leader. This is a myth. And even our fellows agree with us. So we often assume that all entrepreneurs are leaders. This is just a myth, because just because someone has a great and timely idea and can organize and operate a business, the truth is they aren't necessarily a leader. Even if you are world-class winner as an entrepreneur, you may find it hard to get people to see you as a leader within your organization. I've added a lot of text to this, so after the webinar, you'll be able to answer the questions in that survey. So the reason why most people don't have confidence in themselves is because they think somebody who's an entrepreneur is leading something. So if I don't have this characteristic, maybe I'm not a leader. And all these things don't come to leaders just naturally. The skills, they do have all the qualities, but they have to polish their skills. So there are your communication skills that you need to work on, and you need to expand your focus to include motivating the people on your team. Because if you have an idea and you're an entrepreneur and you start a business, it's a startup, it's not necessary that you will succeed if you don't polish your skills, because it does not mean you're a leader just like that. So this is just a myth, and I'm not saying that some entrepreneurs may be leaders. So it's not true for everyone. And then the second myth is management as leadership. So this is a myth too, and Hafiz agrees with us. Leadership is not management. They are interrelated, but they're two widely different pursuits. In other words, you do not need to necessarily be a manager to be a leader. Leadership is a role. and being a manager is a designation. So if we see people who are managers or bosses, that does not mean you are not a leader. Or sometimes we feel like, oh, that we don't speak because, or we don't present our ideas because we are not in that position. But this is just a myth. Then trailblazer as leadership. So this is a myth too. Just because someone is standing in front of the crowd does not mean one is a leader. And you will find the best leaders standing alongside their people, helping propel them forward toward a shared mission and vision. They may even be behind them, watching their backs, since they do not have ego issues. And a trailblazer is one who makes a new track through wild country, or a pioneer or an innovator. And I'm also not saying that a pioneer or an innovator is not a leader, but sometimes it's not necessary. Like Einstein was a pioneer, he was an inventor, and he was shy. So he was doing something on his own, and after ages, like, he was recognized for all that. So I think we have been over all these facts during the GLL too. Like the lady from Ukraine, from Deloitte, had a lot of discussion on these things. Then position as leadership. So the number one top myth about leadership is the idea that leadership resides in certain positions. So if you are at the top, you are a leader. And if you are at the bottom, there is no room for leadership. This is just a myth. Leadership has absolutely nothing to do with position. And you don't have to look very far to find examples of leadership, good and bad, at every level. It is not the position that makes the leader. It is the leader that makes the position. Some other misconceptions are: leaders know everything. Leaders never make mistakes. Leaders only give orders. Leaders have charisma. Leaders have impressive personalities. Leadership comes with age. Leaders possess absolute power. Leaders never delegate important stuff. Leaders treat everyone the same, and leadership can be attained through study. So one of these, in the 8th point, is leaders never delegate important stuff. A leader, it's wrong to think that a leader does everything on his own or himself, or he is the one who's doing everything. A leader is a team player. First of all, he has to be a team player. And then like leaders, the best leader is the one who makes other leaders. So a leader creates leaders. That's the best kind of a leader. These are all myths. And the speed of the leader is the speed of the gang. That you have to explain. The next time you see something typically labeled leadership, slow down and take a closer look. So true leadership is about influence, nothing more and nothing less. True leadership cannot be awarded, appointed, or assigned. And true leadership can never be mandated, only earned. So true leadership, these are the definitions of true leadership. And those people who are, like, there are kings and they have sons. So when the king dies, the son becomes the king. They are not necessarily leaders. Leadership is a quality, and being a king is a position. So position is not leadership. And the king's son may become the king or the head, but the head of the state is not necessarily a leader, because this is a quality, a characteristic. And the best proof of leadership is not the leader's personal success, but the success of those who follow. So there are best leaders. We have examples of leaders in history like Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela, and so many great leaders who, because of whom these people and those followers succeeded. So a king may have, like, I don't know if we have any fellows from where Bashar al-Assad is from, but if you think he's a leader, he's not a leader, he's an oppressor. He's misleading. So leadership is made of all these things. So a leader inspires people toward a shared goal. They have a shared vision, and they lead change, and they empower people. So this is what leadership is made of. And your task is to focus on important leadership characteristics like being a guide, because a leader guides others. Being a dreamer, a leader has vision, he's a visionary. He's an influencer, so someone who cannot influence other people toward achieving a common goal or something that is good for the people. I don't know if we can call him a leader. That's for you to tell me whether we can or cannot call that person a leader. So being a dreamer or a visionary, being a planner, he can plan toward the success of his people. Take your chances and lead the way. So now I'm going to invite question and answers, if I can see those.
Thank you so much, Sobia. That was really very insightful. If
yes.
we have any questions, fellows, we still have a few more minutes for Sobia. If you have any questions, if you have any comments or ideas that you would wish to be addressed, please feel free to reach out to Sobia just now.
Okay, I'm looking for that window where I can see the question answers. So, oh no, they can see me.
Harriet?
Yeah. So, hi, Sobia. Since we do not have any questions, what I would also request of you is if you have any other links that you think might be relevant to us to read after this webinar, please do share them with me immediately, because I'll be sending out the post-webinar links. So if you can have those ones maybe by 2:30, I'm happy to share them with fellows.
Okay, I'm going to, I do have this presentation which you're going to share with the fellows. And yeah, there was a question, like a small task that I wanted the fellows after this webinar was for them to share with us all an activity where they were leading toward success or something, toward a shared success, or they can share with us anything that can be considered as leadership or their leading role a month from this day, and we're going to publish them on the blog, and also share that in a newsletter that we plan to have in the future. So are the questions here in this window, or are they in another?
Sobia, there is one question here. Someone is asking if they could know how the leaders who are not in positions be known as leaders.
Well, it's not just about being known as leaders. A leader, first of all, you have to believe in yourself. So being a leader is all about what you believe in, and then your passion toward achieving a common goal, something that is a shared goal. If you are not in a position, we see so many people who were leaders in the past and they were in jails, and they started movements and they liberated people. So we have Nelson Mandela, and he was in prison for such a long time. And then he just go through a history and read all about him. So leadership and leaders are, it's not like I'm going to be the king or the prince or the princess and then I'm a leader. No. So what you can do is it's all about your passion toward that common goal. And if that makes it, if my explanation was clear, since I cannot see your question and answers and Harriet can see them, so do let me know, and if this is not enough, then I'll explain further. Harriet?
Sobia, there is another question here for you. Someone does not understand how Einstein was a leader. And then the second question is, why is it so important to be a leader? What about the importance of being a follower? At the end, we can't all be leaders.
Okay, can you tell me the first question?
Someone doesn't understand how Einstein was a leader. So
who was a leader?
Einstein?
Einstein?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Einstein was a scientist, and most of these scientists are more of philosophers as well. So he was a leader in the field of science, where he presented so many scientific theories, like not just him, but Thomas Alva Edison was a leader in the field of science. So there are, like, if you judge the ability of a fish by climbing a tree, then we'll say, oh, the fish is not a leader, or the fish is nothing at all. What a clumsy creature God has created. He cannot even climb a tree. So it's just that every person has the ability to do a certain thing, and he's a leader in a certain field. So that is how Einstein was a leader, a pioneer in that field. And he led to so many discoveries. Even after he died, he left certain things that led to so many things that we have today in science. Like Thomas Alva Edison invented this, so we have it today. And this led to the invention of the laptops and the computers that you are using right now, all the waves and sound waves and all that thing, and E is equal to MC square and all that stuff. What was the second question? And if this answer was good enough, can you tell me? I'm still trying to figure out, I'm not a leader in the webinar field, so I don't know where I can see your questions.
So the other question is, why is it so important to be a leader? And what about the importance of being a follower? At the end, we can't all be leaders.
Can you repeat that? The first.
Why is it so important to be a leader?
Okay.
And the question that follows, what about the importance of being a follower? At the end, we can't all be leaders.
Okay, so why is it so important to be a leader? It's not important to be anything at all. I mean, It's not even important to brush your teeth early in the morning when you wake up. It's not important to do anything. It's all about passion. It just happens that some of us at that specific point in time and space happen to be at a certain place, and then there's something that needs to be done. And if, for example, there is something that is a hurdle in the path of people and they're trying to cross the road or a street, and there's a broken tree, a fallen tree, a tree has fallen down because of a storm or rain or something, somebody who goes and picks it up or asks people to come and help that person pick it up, or someone who just tries to pick it up and other people just follow him. See, it's not about the importance of being a leader. It just happens so that you are a leader at a certain point in time and space. And then the second question about being a follower. So he who cannot follow cannot lead. A follower, a leader, is someone who knows how to follow instructions. So all these leaders have been good followers and are still good followers, even if they are leaders. So if we are all leaders from different countries, and we are followers too. So it's not that a leader is good in everything. Like I said, a fish may be a leader in the sea. He's not a leader on the ground, so he cannot climb a tree. So the fish, if the fish wants to learn how to climb a tree, he will follow someone else. And the other question, Harriet?
That's all. It was just 2 questions in one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and can
Was
you?
the follow-on question was, what about the importance of being a follower?
Okay, can you tell me something first? Because can you see me or not?
Yes.
Oh no. Okay.
Okay, so
But they cannot see me, right?
I think we've come to the end of our webinar right now. Thank you so much, Sobia, for your great presentation and for responding to the questions. Again,
Okay.
if you have any links that you would like to share with the fellows, please send them to me immediately. We'll go offline.
Yeah, and as a result of this, like the webinar and everything, I would really appreciate it if all of the fellows would send in their and share their leadership stories with us. And so it's my beautiful supervisor is sitting here too with me. So she's a leader.
Okay, thank you. Good to see her. I think that's it for us today. Thank you so much, Sobia. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And please watch out for the post-webinar links, and be sure to fill out the evaluation forms straight away, because it saves you time and also helps you not to miss out on the important deadlines. It's always open in 2 weeks, so be sure at least to fill out immediately. The webinar is done. Have a good day from me, and hope to see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.